Welcome to a comprehensive recap of the epic 2024 film, Dune, Part 2, a cinematic masterpiece continuing Paul Atreides' journey. Directed by Denis Villeneuve, this film adapts Frank Herbert's iconic 1965 novel, plunging us deeper into the desert world of Arrakis. Following the brutal destruction of House Atreides, Paul and his mother, Lady Jessica, are forced to seek refuge with the indigenous Freeman people. They find sanctuary within the Freemen's hidden sieges, adapting to the harsh realities of desert survival and their unique culture. Paul immerses himself in Freeman ways, learning their language, combat techniques, and the profound spiritual connection they share with Arrakis. During this time, he forms a deep connection with Chani, a fierce young Freeman warrior, and their bond blossoms into love. Paul earns the Freeman names Usul, his tribal designation, and Muad'Dib, a revered title signifying his growing influence and destiny. Meanwhile, Lady Jessica undergoes the perilous Spice Agony, a ritual that transforms her into a reverend mother of the Bene Gesserit. This new role grants her immense prescient abilities and significantly amplifies her influence within the Freeman community, guiding them towards Paul. As Paul's power grows, he is increasingly plagued by disturbing visions of a future holy war, waged across the galaxy in his name. He grapples with the immense burden of this prophecy, fearing the destructive path he seems destined to lead his followers down. In response to the escalating Freeman rebellion, Baron Harkonnen appoints his ruthless nephew, Feyd-Rautha, to brutally quell the uprising. Feyd-Rautha's arrival signals a new, more violent phase in the Harkonnens' efforts to control Arrakis and its precious spice. Paul then unexpectedly reunites with his loyal mentor, Gurney Halleck, who had survived the Harkonnen attack on House Atreides. Together, they uncover a hidden cache of atomic warheads, a critical strategic asset that could turn the tide of the war. In a monumental display of his mastery over Arrakis, Paul successfully rides a colossal sandworm, a feat that solidifies his legendary status. This act fulfills ancient Freeman prophecies, cementing his place as the true leader and messiah they have long awaited. Lady Jessica embarks on a perilous journey to the southern regions of Arrakis, actively spreading the prophecy of Paul as the Lisan al-Gaib. Her efforts rally more Freemen to Paul's cause, uniting the disparate tribes under his banner and strengthening his army. Paul, now fully embracing his destiny, publicly declares himself the Lisan al-Gaib and issues a direct challenge to the Padishah Emperor Sha'adam IV. The Emperor, accompanied by his daughter Princess Irulan and his elite Sardaukar troops, arrives on Arrakis to confront the burgeoning rebellion. This imperial presence sets the stage for a climactic confrontation that will determine the fate of Arrakis and the entire universe. The Freemen launch a devastating surprise attack, utilizing their intimate knowledge of the desert terrain and their mastery of sandworms. They overwhelm the Imperial forces, who are unprepared for the ferocity and strategic brilliance of the Freemen's desert warfare. Amidst the chaos, Paul confronts and kills Baron Vladimir Harkonnen, avenging his father and the destruction of House Atreides. With the Baron eliminated, Paul successfully captures the Padishah Emperor, effectively seizing control of the imperial throne. Paul then challenges the Emperor for the throne, demanding to marry Princess Irulan to solidify his claim to power and legitimacy. This strategic marriage, though politically necessary, deeply upsets Chani, who struggles with Paul's choices and his path. Paul faces Feyd-Rautha in a brutal, ritualistic duel, a final confrontation between the two powerful heirs. Paul emerges victorious, eliminating the Harkonnen heir and securing his dominance over the rival house. With the Emperor defeated, Paul threatens to destroy the vital spice fields of Arrakis, the galaxy's most precious resource, forcing the Emperor to surrender. The Emperor, left with no other choice, yields to Paul's demands, effectively ceding control of the Imperium. Paul then commands the Freemen to attack the great houses of the Landsraad, initiating the very holy war he had foreseen and desperately tried to avoid. The film concludes with the Freemen launching their assault, signaling the start of a devastating, galaxy-spanning conflict. This ending highlights the tragic consequences of Paul's actions as his quest for vengeance leads to a devastating, galaxy-spanning conflict. Dune, Part 2 masterfully explores the dangers of charismatic leadership, religious fanaticism, and the manipulation of faith for political gain. It critiques imperialism and colonialism, underscoring the exploitation of indigenous populations and the destructive consequences of unchecked power. The film also delves into the cyclical nature of violence and revenge, showing how Paul's pursuit of justice ultimately ignites a wider war. Ultimately, Dune, Part 2 leaves us contemplating the profound impact of one man's choices on the fate of an entire universe.